Good morning. So today I was thinking we would work our way to Peacock Pose. It's a hand balance pose where you're pushing the elbows into the belly. A lot of weight on the wrists, so if you have any wrist issues, it's probably not the pose for you. It's a little bit challenging, and just like crow, you have to move the body so you've got that, you're finding that center of gravity so you can lift up the head, the chest and the legs while you're supporting yourself on the hands. A lot of pressure on the belly. So if you've got a full stomach, maybe you should avoid it. You could just do crow instead if you wanted. But it actually massages the diaphragm, which is that strong muscle that helps us breathe. And I find it quite energizing. It's a pose I like to do from time to time. A little bit of breathing work. Sit up nice and tall, tucking the chin slightly, close the eyes. Bringing focus and attention to the breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, start taking longer, deeper breaths. Each inhale, we're trying to pull in a little bit more air, expand the ribs a little bit more. Each exhale, you're trying to make that exhale just as long as the inhale. Let's do a few rounds of Kapalabhati breathing, and we haven't done this for a while. So you want to focus more on the exhale, and it's a sharp exhale, and as you exhale you're pulling the belly in as much as you can. And it's a little bit of a noisy technique, but it's an energizing kind of breath. Good thing to do it in the mornings when you need that energy. So we'll do about 10, 20 and 3 rounds of those. So whenever you're ready, inhale, maybe about 2/3 of the way, and then exhale. Regular breathing. So you're breathing in and out through the nose. The inhale becomes automatic. It's a forced, sharp, short exhale. And as you're exhaling, you're really trying to pull that belly in. Sometimes you get a little bit lightheaded after this if you're not used to it, but it is an energizing kind of breath. Not to be done if you've got high blood pressure. Inhale and go. Regular breathing. As I say, you're really pulling that belly in on the exhale. Inhale 2/3 of the way and go. Regular breathing. Bring up the right arm, parallel to the ground, palm facing down, shoulder back. Start pulling that arm in towards you. Start to feel the stretch. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, pull that arm in a little bit closer. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, the arm comes in closer and closer. Move with the breath. Deepening the stretch on the exhale. If you go slow, you work with the breath, you work with the body, you can start going a little deeper. Switch. Other arm comes up, shoulder back. Pulling that arm in above the elbow, just to find an easy stretch, gentle stretch to begin with. Use the breath, inhale. Exhale, pulling that arm in closer. Inhale, getting tall. Exhale, the arm comes in a little closer. Release. Interlace the hands. Extend the arms forward, shoulders back. So let's work on the arms and the wrists a little bit, since we're going to be doing Peacock Pose. There's a lot of pressure on the hands, so we need to get the hands warmed up, the wrists warmed up. Arms coming up, palms facing the ceiling. You're trying to frame the face. Keep the shoulders happy. If it bothers the shoulders, just bring the arms more forward. Take the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers again, but interlace the other way. Pull the shoulders down and in. And then we're going to just go nice and easy on this one. So start bringing the arms up just a little. Try and soften the shoulders. And then you bring them up a little bit more, and then you try and soften again. And that'll create space. You know, if you go slow, soften, even backing off a little, it'll create space in the shoulders, and then next time you can go a little deeper. And then we come back up. We extend the arms to the side, palms facing down, shoulders soft. Lines of energy through the arms. Make sure the hand is nicely lined up with the arm, so you don't want to point the fingers up or down. So no lazy hands, but no stressed hands, but you've got that line of energy all the way through, consistent line of energy through the arms. Bring the right arm under the left arm. Eagle arms, hands parallel. It can just be like this, with the back of the hands parallel, or the palms, fingers into the palm of one other hand. We touch the nose with the thumb, and then we start bringing those arms up, feeling a nice stretch across the shoulder blades on this one. Trying to keep the back neutral, natural curve of the lower back. Breathe. And release. And then just move those shoulders a little bit, trying to loosen up. Extend the arms to the side, left arm under right arm, hands parallel, touching the nose maybe, and then start to bring the arms up. Getting the back neutral, try not to jut the head forward, and breathe. And then release. So let's come onto our back. We'll do a little bit of core work. You're on your back, feet on the ground, knees are bent, and we're just going to pull the knees in, lightly touch the ground with the toes, and then the knees come back. We do this quite often. Nice, easy way just to strengthen the core. If your hands are on the belly, you can feel those muscles working. If you have any back concerns, if your core is a little bit weak, just continue like this. If you want a little bit more challenge, one leg is straight, and then you bend the opposite knee. You're keeping the legs nice and low, alternating the movement of the legs, engaging the core. This time the core is engaged all the time. If you put your hands on your belly, you can feel those muscles continuously engaged. And then another option here is to add the arm. So as one knee comes in, the opposite arm is going over the head. So we're moving the arms and legs together. This is a nice one. Keeping the back low, not holding the breath. And this is going to work the abs a little bit. 2 or 3 more. And then we bring the feet back down. We take the feet wider apart. Windshield wipers, knees over from side to side. This is nice and easy, but you're getting a little bit of workout on the obliques, and you're warming up the spine, adding a little bit of a twist here. More challenging windshield wipers. We bring the legs up to the ceiling, 90 degrees between the legs and the torso, as you know, arms out a little bit wider, about 45 degrees, and we take the legs over from side to side. Probably about halfway down, using the arms and the hands to go down slow and to help you bring the legs back up. Down far enough so it's a little bit of a challenge, but not too much. Don't make it too difficult. And you'll probably find you can start going a little bit lower as you get into the rhythm of this. You're breathing. You want to try and inhale as the legs come up, exhale down. 2 or 3 more. And then we bring the legs back up to center. You squeeze the back into the ground and you slowly lower the legs. If your back is okay with this, you can keep the legs straight, go down really slow, and then extend the arms over the head. Take a full body stretch, breathe, and then walk the feet in. Take hold of the back of the legs, rock yourself up, and we're going to go straight onto our hands and knees. And do a little bit of cat-cow. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale, round in the back, tucking the chin. Again, we're moving with the breath. Next time you're in cow, belly down, head up, you're holding cow. And we've been doing this a lot more recently. We're in cow pose, belly down, head up, and we're pulling the hands. The hands are firmly on the mat, knees are on the mat, but you're trying to pull them towards each other as much as you can, and you're going to feel that core activating. Breathe. And then we come into child's pose. Extended child's pose, arms extended forward, and then walk the hands over to one side, getting a little bit of a side stretch. And then walk over to the other side. Back to center. And then come up sitting on the heels. So we're going to work on the hands a little bit. So I always do this before crow, although we're not going to do crow or peacock for a while. We'll do that more towards the end of the class. Well, let's work on the wrists a little bit. So I'm going to place my wrists, my hands in between the legs. Fingers are spread apart. Little fingers in contact with each other, and the inside of the wrist is parallel to the edge of the mat that's in front of you. So if this is too much of a stretch on the wrist, keep the sit bones raised. If you want to go deeper, you bring the sit bones closer and closer to the heels. If you're super flexible in the wrist, maybe you don't even feel much of a stretch. So what you could do is just try moving the hands in a little bit closer, further away, see what happens. You know, trying to get a little bit of a stretch here. I find it opens up my wrists on this one, and I feel the stretch on the inside of the forearm. So this is a good one for me. Then what I'd like you to try doing is pushing each finger into the mat in turn. So let's start with the little finger. Push the little fingers into the mat, and then the ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb. Again, push the little finger in, ring finger down, middle finger, index, thumb, and then keep the fingers on the mat, and you're just lifting the palm up, giving yourself a little bit more stretch to the fingers here. And then bring the knees closer together. Bring the thumb into the palm, extend the arms to your side, clasp the thumb, and all we're going to do here is turn the knuckles to the ground and then back up. And this is a nice one for the wrists. If you've got any tendinitis of the wrist, this may be helpful. But this is a good one to do. Another nice one I like is where you're interlacing the fingers and you're working on the wrists in the opposite direction, and then you just go from one side to the other side. Try this. Fingertips into contact. So it's like you're making a sphere. I don't know if you can see because of the light. I'm trying to make a sphere with the hands. Some fingers are touching each other lightly. And then on an exhale, we're going to push the fingers into each other. Take a breath or two. And then we keep contact with the fingers, but we just take off the pressure. Inhale. Exhale, increase the pressure. Take a breath or two. Release the pressure. And then increase it again. And then just shake the hands out. A little bit of wrist work there. Oh, another nice one is just stretching the hands out like this. So I like to stretch out the hands and then clasp, stretch and clasp. Those are good. Okay, back onto your hands and knees. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Bring the feet a little bit closer to each other and start walking the dog, bending one knee as you straighten the opposite leg. Take your time. Good stretch on the back of the leg. You'll feel this in the calf muscles. Hold one leg straight, one knee bent, and then try and get more length in that down dog. Looking towards the feet, pushing the hands into the ground, armpits towards the ground. The heel of that straight leg is getting closer to the ground. We switch legs. And then keeping the chin tucked, come onto the toes, lifting the heels up. Start bringing the shoulders over the wrists. The back is still rounded at this point. Elbows in, and you're coming into upward facing dog. Inhale. And then do the reverse, exhaling back into down dog. Again, shoulders over the wrists, elbows in, inhaling into upward facing dog, exhaling into down dog. If this is too much, you could just do cat-cow. One more time. Keep the elbows in as you transition. Inhaling into up dog, looking up. Engage that core. Exhaling into down dog. You look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale, gently folding forward, head relaxed, bend the knees. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, we're back into mountain pose. Inhale, arms come up. Look up. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain. Inhale, come up. Reach up. Take a back bend. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale, mountain. One more. Inhale, reach up. Bit of a back bend. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. This time hold the forward bend. Relax the head. Bend the knees a little bit. Take hold of the ankles. Keep contact between the belly and the legs. And then see if you can straighten the legs just a little bit more. Just getting a little deeper hamstring stretch. Putting a little bit more weight on the toes. Head is totally relaxed. Keeping the back happy. And then bend the knees. And just roll up. Inhale as the arms come up. Keep the fingers interlaced. Pointing the index finger towards the ceiling. Reach towards the ceiling. Take a side bend. Looking up slightly towards the ceiling. Keeping the whole body in one plane. Going a little deeper with the breath if you want. Inhale, we come up, we reach towards the ceiling again before we go to the other side. So we're trying to get more space in the spine before we bend over. And we go deeper with the exhale. Trying to keep the shoulders in line. So you're not trying to bring one shoulder more forward than the other shoulder. We come back up. We squeeze the glutes slightly. You keep the arms either side of the ears as you take more of a backward bend. Go far as back as it's comfortable. Keeping the arms in line with the ears. And then we come up. And we bring the arms to the side. And we shake everything out. Okay. Getting a little bit of warmth here with the sun salutations. Come to the front of the mat. Inhale into chair. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We walk into plank. We bring the knees down. We keep the elbows in really close. So you're bending the elbows. You're pulling the elbows in closer as you bring the chin, chest forward and down. And inhaling into cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. We bring the feet a little bit closer. We bring the right leg up, extended down dog. And we stack those hips. Bending that top knee, getting a little bit of a hip opener. And then just let that top leg go all the way over into wild pose. Opening the chest. And then we come out of that pose. We do back into extended down dog. And then we bring the knee towards the wrists. And you can go into a side plank. Or you can shoot the leg over and come into star pose. And you're breathing. We bring that hand down. We shoot the same leg back. And then we switch legs. Other leg comes up. We stack the hips. And then we just let that top leg go all the way over, coming into Wild Thing. And then we extend the same leg, and you can come into a side plank or pyramid. So yeah, star pose rather. Star pose, hips are off the ground, both legs are straight, and then we open up. We bring that top hand down, we shoot that same leg up, knees, that top foot down, knees down, and we rest in child's pose. Not too long. Back on your hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward, knees bent, we're back in chair, and then we come all the way up. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we're in plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale the right leg up, extended down dog. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. We're in warrior one. Hold warrior one, 2 or 3 breaths. Next exhale, warrior two. Maybe go a little deeper, feet a little bit wider, looking over that extended arm. Reverse warrior. And then extended side angle, bringing the forearm to that front knee, extending that top arm. Straight line from that top hand all the way to that back foot. If you want, you could slide that one arm towards the ground. But you want to try and keep a straighter line from that top hand all the way through to that back foot. You're breathing. We come back into warrior two. Reverse warrior, and then we flow to the other side. Plank, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. We're in warrior one on the other side. Hold warrior one. I'm just going to switch. Adding a little bit of a back bend. Warrior two. Maybe take the feet a little bit wider. Going a little deeper. All the time you're keeping that knee over the ankle, you're keeping it centered with the foot. Lines of energy through the arms, shoulders nice and soft. Reverse warrior, and then extended side angle pose. And then maybe dropping that lower hand to the ground or a block, straight line, top hand all the way through to that back foot. So I've got my fingertips of my left hand on touching the ground. I'm pushing the arm into the leg, leg into the arm. So I'm trying not to let my left butt stick out too much. I'm breathing. We bring the hand down. We walk so we're facing the side of the mat. We take the feet parallel to each other and a little bit wider. Arms, legs parallel to each other and vertical. We bring one hand to center. Let's bring the right hand to center. Pulling the bottom shoulder in and down, and we open up, taking a twist. Breathe. We bring that top hand down. We bring the other arm up slowly with the body, keeping that top arm nicely lined up with the back. Don't yank the arm back, keep the shoulder nice and safe. We bring that hand down. We're on our fingertips, or you can have the hands on the block. We straighten one leg as we bend the opposite knee, and we just go from side to side. Keeping the feet, soles of the feet on the ground at all times. Don't come onto the inside edge of the foot. getting a workout, a stretch on the inside of the legs on this one. Hold one leg straight, one knee bent. Really pushing the outer edge of that foot, that straight leg into the mat. Inhale up, exhale to the other side. And then we come back, both legs straight, and then we start walking the feet together, heel toe, heel toe. Bend the knees, and we start rolling up. Inhale as the arms come up. Exhale, back into mountain, back to the front of the mat. Inhale into chair. Let's take a chair twist. So we're twisting to the left. We take a breath or two. And then we twist to the other side. We come back into chair, and then we come all the way up. So what we're going to do next, we'll do a chair twist, and we'll transition to a lunge twist, or a high lunge crescent twist. So come back into chair, twist to your left. So you want that upper right arm onto the outside of the left leg if you can. So you've got a little bit of a leverage there. Then we focus on the feet, and we're going to take the right foot back. A little bit of a tricky transition. And you can keep the knee up, or you can take it down if you prefer. If the knee is up, the heel is stacked over the toes. Now if you want, you can bring the right arm down and the left arm up, spreading the arms. Breathe. And then bring that knee down. So what I want you to try and keep that arm on the outer part of the leg. Sometimes it slips forward if you're not flexible enough. So what you could try is if you place the left hand high up the leg and you push into the leg, that'll give you a little bit more leverage, and you can go a little bit deeper into that twist. And then you can separate the arms and then maybe bring the back knee off the ground. You get a little bit more leverage if you take it easy. Palms together, hands either side of the front foot, into plank, chaturanga, inhaling to up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a breather here. This is almost like a relaxing pose, down dog. Hold downward facing dog. Then we look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up, exhale folding forward, knees bent. Knees are going to stay bent. We're coming up into chair, and then we take a twist in the other direction. And again, you can push that right hand into the outer upper thigh. So you can get a little bit deeper with the other arm. You then bring the palms together. We then look at the feet, and we take the left leg back as best you can. And then maybe spread the arms. You can have that back knee down if you want. I'm going to lower the knee. And as I say, you can push that right hand into the leg so you can get a little deeper into that stretch. And then we release. We're in plank. Chaturanga, inhaling to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And let's take just a little bit of a breather here. And then we come up, we sit on the heels. How are we doing on time here? Not too bad. Come into a standing position. Shake the arms out. So those I think those are quite challenging, those chair twists and the lunge twists, crescent twists. Extend the arms to the side, shoulders soft. Bring the right arm under the left arm. Come into chair. So we're getting that shoulder opener again, eagle arms, and then we add eagle legs. You bring the right leg on top, you squeeze those legs together, and you try and hook that top foot behind the standing leg. And you center, and you lift the arms up. And then we release, and we shake everything out. Chair, arms extended, left arm under the right arm, left leg on top, squeeze the legs together, maybe hook the foot if your knee's okay. You might find one side's easier, I find this side is easier for me. Lifting the arms up slightly, leaning back a little bit, breathe. And release. Shake everything out. Get those hands nice and loose. Lean over. Just let that right arm, lean over to one side, let that arm dangle nice and loose. Shake the hand out. Over to the other side. Lean forward. Really shake those hands. Okay, get those wrists ready. So, Peacock Pose. See how far you can get. You don't have to do the whole peacock, but let's see how far we can get. Let's see. Let's start off, I'll start off facing you guys. So we're going to start off like we did before, where we're stretching the wrists out. We're going to start off in that position, so the knees are apart, little fingers touching each other, elbows are bent, and you're getting a little bit of a stretch in the arms, the inside of the arms and the wrists. So just hold that, and then I'm going to do it from the side, same thing from the side here. So with the wrist in that position, inside of the wrist facing the edge of the mat, little fingers touching, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring the head towards the ground. So you're resting on the top of the head. And then you walk the knees forward and you squeeze the arms a little closer and you just let the belly rest on those elbows. And you can just relax here a little bit. Just let the elbows sink into the belly. If it becomes too uncomfortable, you can stop at any time. So I've walked the legs back now, I'm squeezing the elbows together, and I rest the belly on the elbows again. Then I lift the head up. A lot of pressure on the diaphragm. Breathing is slightly restricted. And then I'm looking up, I'm bringing my whole body slightly forward. I'm starting to engage the core as I lift the legs up into Peacock Pose. And breathe. And then what you could do, bring the forehead to the ground and lift the legs up. Bring the knees down and you come out As I say, a lot of pressure on the belly, so not a good thing to do if you've had a big breakfast. But if you go into it slowly and you just transition, you can try and find that center of gravity. And like crow, you can just float yourself up. So basically, you bring in the hands between the knees, you bring in the head down, you squeeze the arms together with the legs. So I'm trying to get the elbows as close together as possible. Then I walk the legs back. I squeeze the elbows even closer. I let the belly sink into the elbows. I lift the head up, and then I have to shift my whole body forward so that I'm getting that lightness and breathing. And then you can bring the head down and the legs up if you want. Might be a little bit more challenging for women than men, because women have breast tissue, right? So it's a little bit challenging bringing the elbows in a little bit closer. Sometimes my elbows will slide and catch against the hips. Sometimes they just slide and I can't get into the pose. But it's quite an exhilarating pose. If you didn't want to do that, you could have been doing crow. Nice way to get into crow, which I like. I do this more often now, is from a standing position. I bring my hands in front of the toes, about 8 inches or so. Hands are slightly wider than feet. And I come onto the toes, and I'm bringing the knees as high up the arms as I can. I'm looking forward all the time. So the upper arms are like shelves to the knees. And you're bringing your weight forward, you're not kicking up, and you just let those feet float up, and you bring the big toes together, you're breathing. Keep looking up all the time in crow. And then we come all the way down. Challenging poses, but if they're not for you, just find something else to do while some of us are doing those peacocks and crows. You could be doing the squat or pigeon or something like that. Talking of pigeon, why don't we do recline pigeon? Okay, come onto your back. Let's just take a little breather here. Now bring the outer of the right foot onto the left leg. So we're making this figure 4 with the legs. We're activating the foot that's close to you, and then we're holding onto the back of that left leg. We're pulling the legs in nice and close. The same time you're pulling the legs in, you're trying to get the tailbone closer to the ground, and you could be pushing the forearm into the inside of that right leg, opening that hip a bit more. And then just rock from side to side, giving the lower back a little bit of a massage. I always think this is one of the best poses for the back and the hip. This is probably one of the poses I do the most often. Just rocking from side to side. And then we switch to the other side. Out of the left ankle onto the right leg, pulling the legs in, activating that left foot, pushing into that left thigh maybe. Tailbone, you're trying to get the tailbone to the ground. So rather than bringing the tailbone up, you're trying to keep it down if you can. And then we just rock side to side. And then we pull both knees in. We take hold of the feet, so we're coming into happy baby. And again, head is supported on the ground, tailbone is low. I've got my hands outside my feet, but some people like to have the hands inside the feet. And you're trying to get those knees closer and closer to the ground. We take hold of the big toes, palms facing each other. For the first 2 fingers, the thumb around the big toe. palms face in, palms towards each other, and then we see if we can stretch the legs out into a V position. Shoulders pulled away from the ears, and we're trying to get that V shape with the legs. Eventually you're going to get the legs straight, but a lot of people struggle here, so if the knees are bent, no worries. Again, trying to get that tailbone towards the ground. You're pulling the shoulders down away from the ears, and we bend the knees. We take hold of the back of the legs, we lift the head up, and we rock into boat. You can keep the hands on the back of the legs, excuse me, or you can extend the arms either side of the legs. You can start straightening the legs, you can lift the legs higher. Just go to your level, but at all times trying to keep the back neutral. You try not to round the back. You're breathing. And then we lower. So the feet just a few inches off the ground. You're supporting the head with the hands, which is also above the ground. You're pushing the lower back into the ground for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We lower all the way down, and we take a full body stretch. Reaching with the arms, reaching with the legs. Walk the feet in. Take hold of the back of the legs and just rock yourself up and come into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. We're just going to rock from side to side, and as you're doing that, you're getting a little bit closer to the heels. And we become still, getting the back neutral, and then we just lift the legs up and down a few times. You can flap them, just like the wings of the butterfly. And then we're using a lot of arm strength. You're pulling those hips forward and you're trying to encourage those legs, those knees closer to the ground. If your knees are high, your back is rounded, I'd suggest you sit on the block or a cushion. If the hips are higher than knees, it makes it a lot easier. But eventually, we're trying to get those knees all the way down to the ground with the back neutral, not rounded. And then we release. So since we've got a little bit of time left, let's just work on the hamstrings and the quads a little bit. So let's come into a lunge. I'm just going to turn my mat around. So have the right foot forward, back knee down to the ground. And you can pad the mat if there's too much pressure on that back knee. Now, just like that cat-cow we did, like cow pose earlier on, where we were trying to pull the hands towards the knee, this time we're trying to pull that front foot towards that back knee without moving the knee or the foot. And you're going to feel a stretch down the front of that back leg. And then we bring the arms up. Then we take the hands down, and you're going to walk that front foot forward just a couple of inches, and on an exhale, extend the leg. Inhale into the lunge, exhale, extend. Inhale, lunge, exhale, extend. We hold the extension, we're flexing this foot. We walk the hands a little bit closer, and we're trying to get a stretch all the way down the back of the leg. Maybe you feel it in the hip a little bit, in the glutes. Ideally the leg is straight, the quads are working. The more you fold forward, the more you're going to feel this one. If you feel anything in the back, it's just a gentle stretch. Back shouldn't be hurting. we come back into the lunge. So you've got your fingertips, you're on your fingertips either side of the front foot, and we switch to the other side. Starting off in the lunge, pulling that front foot towards the back knee, and then we bring the arms up. And we bring the hands down. We walk that front foot forward an inch or two. Exhale, we extend. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, extend. And then lunge. And then hold the extension. Walking the hands in a little bit closer. Just finding your stretch. Maybe one side's easier than the other side. If you do a lot of sitting, stretching out the calf muscles, the quads, the hamstrings is a good idea. And then we come back into the lunge. We bring the hands either side of the front foot. We come into plank. Hold plank. Try not to sink between the shoulder blades. Bring the whole body forward. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bring the knees down to the ground. Sit on the heels. Lean over to one side and come onto your back. Getting ready for Shavasana. So you're on your back. Maybe take another full body stretch. And then a little bit of a side stretch, getting into that banana shape. And then a side stretch on the other side. And then recenter. And come into Shavasana. Arms either side of you, palms up, keeping length in the neck, keeping that chin tucked. Eyes closed, moisten the lips and breathe. Just letting the whole body sink into the ground. Totally relax. Stretch out the hands, stretch out the toes, and then just relax the hands and the feet. Stretch out again, hands, spreading the fingers, spreading the toes, and relax. One more time, spread out the hands, stretch out the toes, wider, Really stretch those hands out, stretch those toes out, and then relax. Walk the feet in, keeping the eyes closed, and just roll over to one side. Take a breath or two. Keeping the eyes closed, gently come into a seated position. And then inhale as the arms come up. Exhale as they come down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Keep the palms together, bring the hands to the forehead. Namaste.